What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast. It is another fine Saturday. We've got a good show. We've got two brand new guests, man. Episode 132. I'm excited. But first off, it's not still a 7, but how you doing, man?
It might be a 6.5. No, I'm not even going to go that low. I am. When I rated it, it's so funny. When I rated that game, I was like, man, I originally had 6.5. I was like, you know what? It's probably a little closer to 7 because it's still well done and I'm still enjoying it. And then the farther I got in, the more I was like, yeah, this is a 7.
This is awesome.
7.
I need to go back and rethink my review.
It's so accurate. My review is so accurate. It's unreal. I'm super proud.
I like that you got your review on the video, though. You know, the trailer.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yes. Man, I should have saved that picture. But
yeah, that was direct gaming.
Yes,
he is awesome.
He crushed it.
I'm working with him on some Miles stuff. We'll show that a little bit later.
I'm sure that game's going to be overrated.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. Anyway, we've got two new guests this week. People don't even know what we're talking about. We're already off track.
Yep.
We've got two new guests this week. So, but I'm sure familiar to everyone who watches our show because there's a lot of crossover here. So first, I'm going to start with Leonatis from Gaming Beyond the Box. What is happening, man?
Oh, nothing much. I just picked up Valhalla yesterday and been playing that. And I played Destiny, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Gotta get that light level up.
It is raid day after all for all our Destiny fans out there. The new raid is live. It's being played right now. So if you are a Destiny fan and you're tuning into us rather than the raid, I just say thank you for that.
No
problem. And you're early in Valhalla, I know. But as you can already tell, it's better than a 7.
Oh, yeah, way better than a 7. I mean, I like it better than Odyssey already.
Well, you're essentially playing the same game. Listen, Leo, come back to me here later on.
Let me
come back later on.
Yeah.
Come back later.
Just a mod.
Come back.
Well,
Yeah, we
also, I didn't really get into Odyssey, so like it was okay, but like I didn't like how everyone was like, "Oh, it's an amazing game." Yeah, I didn't see it. I was just like, eh. And I like that in Valhalla, I don't have like a million pieces of gear like 2 seconds into it.
That's a good thing.
That I have to, take apart just to get the materials. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, that I agree with you on. That is they've
and that's
redone
the one thing
that.
I don't like.
Yeah, that's the one thing Ains hates.
And
I
was trying to figure out the point of having the birds still, but I was glad that they brought the Eagle Vision back, or Odin's Sight, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although that is funny, Leo, because being such a big Borderlands fan, I'm surprised that you are okay with lack of loot in Valhalla.
Do you know how many legendaries I've sold just to a vending machine? Like thousands upon thousands, because like I look for you have to find the exact stats you want.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For your build.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was actually playing that yesterday while I was waiting for the mail to get here with my Valhalla.
Nice.
Those new skins. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Just go around, mess around.
Well, thanks for coming on. We'll get to your history and games in just a second, but next I want to introduce HTK or Peter from our friends over at Next Level Gaming Show, so which Dan and I were on just last week, actually. So what is happening, man? How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm glad to be be on the Bitcast show. It's great to be here and let's have some fun, talk some gaming.
Yeah, we got some good stuff to talk about today, actually, as I was going through the notes. So fantastic. So guys, Fork Boy, what's up, man? Already giving us a big super chat. Really appreciate that, Fork. What do we got here? So love the show. Got it on background. Keep up the awesome work. Thanks as always, Fork, man. Greatly appreciate it.
Appreciate it,
man. So yeah, first, before we do that, we've got new guests, and with new guests, we always like to talk about gaming history and kind of what got you into gaming and your favorite series, those types of things. So for both of you, we'll start with just a quick gaming history. Obviously, many of us go back a long way. We've been through many, many generations and consoles and platforms and games. So we don't need a whole history lesson here, but just like what got you into gaming to start with and, kind of the quick journey along the way. So, Peter, I'll start with you, man.
Sure. Yeah, it's my first gaming experience was on an Apple II. My uncle had an Apple II, so that was the first little, ASCII game that I played. I think it was with a frog and you had to catch flies and something like that. And after that, I was kind of sold on the on gaming, on electronic gaming, let's say it that way.
Yeah.
And growing up in the Netherlands, Commodore 64 was huge. So I'm a huge Commodore 64 fan.
Nice.
That was basically my I call it a console. Most people say, but it's not a console, it's a PC. But I don't know anyone who really used it for, more PC applications except a old veterinarian who used like a pet, Commodore pet for, I don't know, for something years ago. Also had the Game and Watch games, which now become popular again, apparently. So I had plenty of those. Then for Commodore, I went to Atari Mega ST, also for MIDI and playing keyboards and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Recording on Cubase, so that kind of want me to get an Atari. Did some PC. Then, mainly on PC for a long time. Then came the original Xbox.
Okay.
I saw that Costco and it's like, oh man, the racing game looks so good. And I was probably got them racing, and at that point it's like, so smooth, and it's like, okay, I need to have that. And from that point forward, I really went to console gaming. I had the 360, PlayStation 3 a little bit.
Okay.
Didn't do too much about it. Xbox was my main gig. Also had the Wii. A lot of fun with the family. Then to Xbox One X, now Series X, and PlayStation 5. And man, fantastic
Good,
new
man.
hardware and games galore.
Yeah, it's been a fun couple of weeks. So I think a little later in the show we'll talk about kind of our continued experiences with the Series X and PS5, which will be fun. But of course, so if you had to pick across your gaming history, what's your favorite individual game or even series? Like, what's your classic? Do you have one?
I go back to the Commodore 64 days, and Epic's games were one of my favorites, with the summer games, winter games, California games.
Yeah.
That was like, I had so much fun and so many good memories.
Wow. I don't think we've ever had anyone go back to that. Yeah, that's a class. I mean, those are going way back now.
That's going way back. I mean, it's just the memories. Now when you look at them, it's like, they look a little bit more dated. And
of course,
there's so many good stuff. Like Assassin's Creed is, the Ubisoft games. That it's pretty the current game favorites for me. So
gotcha. Okay, and then would you say Commodore 64 is your favorite platform then?
Nostalgia wise, yes.
Yeah, cool, awesome. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. What you can? Oh, I forgot. I also have I said we also have a Switch, which moststly play the old NES and Super NES games, because I never had those consoles, so those games are still new. Although,
okay.
I know some of them, but I haven't played them too much, like Donkey Kong and all that stuff. But yeah, it's good.
Man, so you never in its original form played through like Super Mario World or Super Metroid or anything?
Correct, never.
Wow, those are legends, man. Yeah, you got to go. But even today, those are incredible games.
Right. So that's why I'm happy about those mini consoles. Those retro minis. It's like you kind of get a little bit of feel for one of us in those days, because I'll collect those as well.
Fantastic, cool. All right, so Leo, same kind of question, man. What got you into gaming, and what got you here today?
I got 30 pages wrote out. Take a seat. I got started back in, I believe it was around 1990 with the Nintendo system. My brother came home on leave, and he got me the one with Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. Came with the gun. Yeah. And
Action Set, it was called.
My mom couldn't get my attention for a long time after that. Then after that, I got a Sega Genesis, which is my favorite system ever.
Nice. You're welcome on this show. Good answer.
I mean, I played so much Sega. It wasn't funny. And I had a Super Nintendo 2, which has one of my all-time favorites with Link to the Past on it. I love that game. I could play it over and over and over. And then after that, I missed out on the Sega Saturn, the Dreamcast, because just couldn't afford it at the time when I was a kid. And then I got a PlayStation 2 and played a lot of Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, stuff like that. And then after that, I got an Xbox, the OG Xbox, on a lark, because I went to a video game store with my nephew and they had Jade Empire playing.
Oh, great game.
And that's what made me pick up the Xbox. Like, I want to play this game. This is awesome. And
Yeah.
I played a lot of BioWare since then.
Excellent.
Like, I don't even want to know the hours I put into Mass Effect. That's just something I don't want to know.
Classic games, man. So is that your so then what's your favorite series of all time? Because I know you're a diehard Borderlands guy.
I was going to say, probably most people expect me to say Borderlands,
Yeah.
but I have so many favorite games I've spent so much time on, but I think I'll take it back to the NES and go with either Mega Man 2 or Ninja Gaiden or Dragon Warrior. One of those three. Because I love those three games so much. Like, I put a lot of time into Ninja Gaiden because I couldn't save, so I left my NES on.
As we all did.
I was going to sleep. My mom would check on me, and then she'd go to bed, and then I get back up, start playing it again.
Awesome. Dragon Warrior is I joke about that game in Phantasy Star a lot because, as you guys know, back in that day, there were no guides, there was no YouTube, there's no internet, there's no way to look anything up, and you just had to figure it out, which could
Final
take
Fantasy
a long time.
Pain in the ass back then.
Yeah, Final Fantasy, same thing. All those old Japanese
Breath
RPGs.
of Fire. Oh,
man. So that's awesome. And then you have a favorite platform?
Well, if we're going through all of them, Sega is probably going to be my favorite, and followed by Xbox, because I played, like, ever since I got my OG Xbox, I've been playing on that mainly. Like,
Gotcha.
I never owned a PS3.
Okay.
I owned a PS4 really late. Like, what was it? Horizon Zero Dawn was out when I got it.
Okay.
And I
Cool.
mainly got it for Street Fighter.
Fair enough. Another classic. So excellent. All right. So, well, welcome, guys. Appreciate you having you on, and let's get into some of these topics. So first, I want to talk about Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk 2077, we got the final Night City wire this week, along with a surprise show that they just kind of released on Tuesday with actual Xbox console footage, which was interesting. So they showed Xbox One X footage and Xbox Series X footage. And just to be very clear, in case you weren't aware, although I would assume our audience was, is that the Series X footage was running in what they call compatibility mode, right? Meaning it's still the Xbox One version of the game. It's not upgraded for Series X yet. They were just showing the differences running on different hardware. So I don't know if you guys check this out. We'll start with the Xbox footage, and then Night City Wire. They really highlighted Keanu Reeves and his character in Johnny Silverhand.
I'm so tired of hearing about that guy.
Well, you might want to mute for a little bit then, because we're going to talk about it.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just like he's everywhere. It's like, damn, dude.
yeah, he is everywhere. That's for sure. But then they highlighted some more of the world, and they gave us what they were calling the last kind of major gameplay trailer prior to launch, which was over 5 minutes long of straight gameplay, and very, very impressive. So what I kind of wanted to talk about is two things, really. Did you guys check out the footage on Xbox, the Xbox footage? What did you feel about that? Does it look, as what you expected? And then in terms of Keanu Reeves, and Johnny Silverhand, they've called him a kind of side protagonist, meaning he's not, you don't play as him, but he's also not like a sidekick. He's kind of like got a full story that's built into the game. And so that I figured that's a kind of a unique thing, especially for someone as famous as Keanu Reeves. So anyway, what'd you guys think about this? Dan, I'll start with you, man.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, come on now.
Here's the thing. I block Cyberpunk on Twitter. All right. I block everything I can on it, mostly due to the fact that I am done ingesting Cyberpunk for now until I get the actual game.
Well, it wasn't delayed again, so that's the good news.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened. They basically delayed it again. I was like, well, I'm blocking these dudes. I'm done with them. Just come out when you come out. I don't want to hear anything. Surprise me. Whatever happens. Listen, I saw some stuff about it. I didn't get a deep dive into the Cyberpunk stuff. It says I think I saw a video where you can play as Johnny Silverhand. No, that's not true. Okay.
No, that's what I was just saying.
Okay.
See, you should have watched at least the Johnny Silverhand.
No,
not the footage from the game. The part talking about with Keanu, because they show like the motion capture, and they tell the story of what
Okay,
they're
I see
doing
what you're
with
saying.
it.
That must have been something else. I did see some of the footage too, and that, but it was on a Twitch stream, so it really was bad. Like I couldn't get that's just because I don't get Twitch. My Twitch never works. Like when I try to watch you, I always get really poor, reception, or I don't know what it is. But I just want it to look good. It's not the new. It's not the Series X stuff, right? It's just some little upgrades here and there. I mean, I really don't know what I'm going to be getting. All I know is I'm going to be playing Cyberpunk, hopefully in a couple weeks. That's basically what I'm at. I didn't see.
You're not much help at all.
No, I'm really not. You went to the worst person for this because I'm trying to. Like I said, I'm trying to block this out of my head so I can just be fresh when I go into it.
All right.
Yeah.
So let me mute you and move on.
Good.
No, I'm kidding. So Leo and HD and Peter, we didn't even talk about if you guys are really as hyped for this game as we are. What's your interest in Cyberpunk?
I'm definitely interested. I actually pre-ordered it this week because it was on sale, new egg for $10 off.
Okay.
Digitally, so it's score. I did not see the actual footage, the Xbox One X / Series X footage.
Okay.
I'm kind of curious why they didn't show the actual, optimized Series X footage.
It's just not done. It's not ready.
So that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, that won't be ready till next year. But they haven't. They just keep saying next year too. They haven't even given us any kind of target date.
Are they gonna give it to us? So it's just hey, good luck.
We'll Leo, what about you? You pumped for this game?
I've never heard of it. Is that like a chair
Stop
company?
it.
Buy your video?
Stop it.
No, I'm hyped to play it, but after watching the video, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up until later.
Okay.
Because I play on an Xbox One S.
Okay.
So I'm afraid that it's going to look really bad and play really bad on it.
Okay.
I'll probably end up picking it up because I really want to play it.
Yeah.
Because the footage they showed, all the little details look so good.
Yeah.
All the little ads and all that stuff.
Hmm.
And the gameplay looks fun as hell.
Yeah, it looks
massive.
really incredible. Oh yeah.
Although the cool thing is that they made streets. You can follow street signs to get where you're going. I thought that was such a cool thing they put in there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get to here in a second too. Is the open world design and what that's going to mean for games in the future. But I guess we don't have to stay on it then. But I was going to talk about what they showed with Keanu Reeves was really interesting.
I'm actually surprised they didn't give him a bigger part.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He is the biggest part in the game other than the main character.
Well, I don't know if you know anything about the original, the tabletop game, but Johnny Silverhand's a big deal in it. He's the big, person in it, and he has an entire arc throughout the whole game.
Yeah, so no, I knew it was a tabletop game. Obviously, I never played it.
I had no idea.
What?
None whatsoever.
This is what happens when you don't do your research, Dan. Jesus.
He's I didn't watch Cyberpunk. I don't know what this Cyberpunk
is.
Did you thought this was all week?
No. Going back, you thought this was a new IP?
I mean, I thought it was books, like The Witcher. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a famous tabletop game from decades. It's been around for a very long time.
Yeah,
that came out in '93, I believe, something like that.
Yeah.
I was playing actual Warhammer 40K. You would think I would actually know about this.
And the game that's coming out soon is 100 years after the tabletop game, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's definitely posted. I don't know how many years. I remember seeing that though. But going back to Johnny Silverhand, I think what the point I was trying to make is what really seems interesting based on what they showed this week is that, you don't play as him, but he's with you the whole game. And he actually has his own kind of protagonist story. So depending on the decisions you make with him, his story will go, it seemed either with you, against you, or kind of off on its own tangent. Which seems really, really crazy to me because I was trying to think of any other game where you don't play as a main character, or excuse me, you have a main character story, but you don't play as it. It's kind of on the side. And I found that really interesting. So I think like Witcher 3, in my opinion, set the bar, especially now that it's 5 years old, set the bar for kind of storytelling and open world design. I think Cyberpunk's going to do it all over again.
I think a lot of people are going to be surprised when they realize Johnny Silverhand is not a person.
Yeah, I know. They think he's a real character. Right. Yeah. When in fact he's
not.
What the fuck?
He was. Now he's just a ghost.
Yeah, he's dead, right? But he's a it's his artificial intelligence kind of version.
If he's
of him.
still like a living person, then wow, he looks good for over 100 years old.
Yeah, it's basically an AI computer version of him that's in you, like goes with you. It's like Cortana, Johnny Cortana.
Have you ever seen Ghost in the Shell? That's what I keep thinking of. Because they have ghosts in the machines.
No, I mean I know of them, but I never really watched them. No.
Shame.
Dan, you didn't know that either?
Listen, I'm going in blind, man. I have no idea what's happening.
Ask him about Vikings.
I couldn't tell you anything.
He can't tell us anything about that apparently either. So
no, that's terrible.
But no, on the open world design. So for anyone who has been paying attention to this game, based on what they're showing in the video, especially this week, in my opinion, it definitely feels as though Cyberpunk is going to kind of push the bar forward again. What we saw from Witcher 3, there's 3 games that I think in the past decade, in my opinion, and I want to hear from you guys on this, that have really changed open world games. Those are Grand Theft Auto 5, Witcher 3, and Red Dead 2. And I think that all 3 of those, in their own way, have really fundamentally changed how open world kind of RPGs, for lack of a better word, are designed. And I think it feels like Cyberpunk is going to be the next game that really just changes everyone's perception of how detailed and how engrossing an open world game can be.
Yeah, you might be right, man. I mean, and you're right on those 3. I mean, they were, that genre defining, games. All 3 of them were, and they kind of built on, what they had prior to that. Not necessarily The Witcher. What The Witcher 3 did, from The Witcher 2 was such a humongous leap, and that's what has me excited for Cyberpunk, because I know what we said before, the potential for CD Projekt Red, is almost limitless. I mean, I think they're my problem, and it used to be BioWare, but they're definitely a top 3 developer for me. And even in Rockstar with Red Dead Redemption 2, it could be. It's going to be. I'm really, really interested. With all this stuff that they put into it, just to see what they actually have accomplished. I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess. But it's still my number 1 anticipated game. Even beginning of the year, it still is.
Yeah, far and away.
Yeah, there was nothing else that was coming out that I was looking forward to as much.
Well, hell, every other game's scared of it.
I mean, they're literally running away from it. So I'm okay with that, though.
As they should be.
Yeah, for sure.
My favorite post was Path of Exile saying that they will not be releasing their update because Cyberpunk's coming out on the same day.
Yep.
It makes sense.
And Medium got moved too. Same thing, same comment. So, but I mean, do you guys, Leo and Peter, do you normally get into those types of games, those big open world games like I mentioned, right? Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, Witcher. I
mean, I've played them all, and I'm hoping with Cyberpunk, it's a combination of all the good stuff out of those 3. Because, my opinion, Red Dead Redemption 2 is like the world felt very alive, but the story was like so kind of stretched across that it's like it had so many downs and then ups. It was kind of like my main disappointment of this generation, because I was super hyped for that game, and and the Witcher 3 was fantastic too. Just the storylines and the how that intertwines and stuff. So I see Cyberpunk as the best of all these ideas, and it's just gonna be massive. It's going to be alive. It's going to be huge. It's going to be, the stories are like all intertwined, and it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't know if you guys saw too, but they've said that someone asked them about game length because they released the PC requirements yesterday, system requirements, and someone asked them about game length, and they said we're not commenting on game length because it can vary drastically depending on the decisions you make.
You'll be upgrading your graphics card 2 times before you finish the story.
Man, if it goes by decisions, I'm gonna get screwed. It'll be like 5 minutes for me. You're dead. Shit. You picked wrong.
I can't even imagine what that means. Like, I had close to 300 hours probably in The Witcher, and it's insane. If they can, I know it's supposed to be technically smaller in scope, but you can
smaller in world
size. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so dense.
Yeah,
that's going to be the problem. I'm really curious to see how much they packed into this place. This Night City stuff. I mean, I just hope like with The Witcher, what they did, what was so unique about that for me anyway, was like what Peter was saying. All these stories were kind of intertwined with the main story, and it actually made these side quests, which essentially what they were, even though they were categorized as main quests, but they were kind of on the side there. And you're just kind of, you would play something and be like, oh, this comes back 5 or 6 hours later in the game, your decision over here, and everything was meaningful.
Yeah.
Every decision you made meant something later on down the road, and I know there was at least 3 or 4 different endings. I know there's 3, right?
3 in Witcher.
Okay, yeah. And all that kind of came together. It's not like where it was just kind of an arbitrary color choice like Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, there's like no waste in it. Like none at all.
Exactly. It feels like everything is meant to be there and has a purpose.
Right. But they didn't. But it also didn't. It let you do as much as you wanted to, to a certain extent. All the sides, the real side stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. But it'd be nice if you can make everything meaningful. But that's really, really hard to do, especially in a world that's so huge and has so much content.
Yep.
And then you come out with, 2 DLCs that arguably were better than a lot of the games that were made that year. It's insane to me what they did with that. So again, super high hopes. We're gonna see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And they even put quest and free DLC and everything. It's just like, good grief.
Yeah. They're pretty unbelievable in that regard. Which is why, Witcher 3 and the way they've handled that game with the expansions and just continued support has fundamentally changed CD Projekt Red as a company. I mean, when Witcher 3 released in 2015, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but if I recall correctly, they were less than a $2 billion company in terms of market cap. They're now valued at $8 billion. So I mean, it just shows you what the strength of a single IP can do if it's handled correctly. And it's just, I think if Cyberpunk hits like we think it's going to hit, and if it hits those same highs, I mean, I think the argument would then have to be made, has CD Projekt Red taken over as the premier developer in the world?
They're doing really good with that Gwent game too. I know a lot of people play that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a side project for them, and even that's been popular. It has its own pro league, you know what I mean? Which was born out of a side game in The Witcher 3, which is crazy when you think about it.
Which I tried to avoid like the plague, won't lie.
I was a direct opposite. I literally did everything in that.
I've played a lot of Magic the Gathering, and that just like messed with my head, the rows. I was like, no, that ain't how it works.
But yeah, I really think,
I hope you stay with one character though in Cyberpunk. Like in The Witcher 3, when you played as Ciri. Ciri. It's like I felt jarring to me. Okay. It's like I got me out of out of Geralt's world, out of his role, and I have to play as her, and that didn't jive with me. So hopefully,
that's fair. Yeah, I think one of the arguments I've made all the time, because if you remember, it's not so much anymore, but we used to talk about Witcher 3 and a lot of comparisons to Skyrim, right? It's kind of like the best Western RPG. And one of the arguments I always made for The Witcher over Skyrim was that The Witcher has a true protagonist, right? You play as Geralt, you feel as him. He's incredibly well written. A lot of the stuff in that game is really designed around Geralt's story. Whereas in Skyrim, there is no, there's the world's incredible. What you can do is incredible, but there's really no driving force of a protagonist there.
I've had 46 main ones. Thank you very much.
You have what?
I've had 46 main protagonists in Skyrim. Thank you very much.
But you know what I mean? Like you're writing for a non-character, right? It's just a generic. You're the player.
Also, I think you missed out on Mass Effect. I think that was a great Western RPG.
I didn't miss out. Believe me, I have hundreds of hours in Mass Effect.
No, same.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on Mass Effect, but I just meant, that fantasy RPG style, right?
Oh, okay. I got you.
But what I'm concerned about with Cyberpunk is V, right? Your main character is V, and you can be male, female. You customize them how you want. I'm really curious to see how they write that in as a core story, and if they can tackle it the same way as they did with someone like Geralt, because Geralt comes from the books, right? There's a long history there. And I don't know, Leo, if you know anything about that. Is V a made up character for the game, or is it tied into the tabletop?
It's an entirely new character. Basically, it's based off of class, the Merc, if I remember right, Tech Merc, they have some all the classes have some tech name added onto the class, but I think it's Tech Merc or something like that.
Okay.
But basically, they're taking they don't say it outright, but if you go by what the Tech Merc does and what V is, it's basically the same thing. And basically, they're the ones that go around and fix the problems that people have.
Gotcha.
So there's no there's no actual person. You know what I mean? It's the person you've created.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm very curious about Cyberpunk, to see how it handles that.
I don't know how they're gonna make your character story. I don't know if it's gonna go by just what you choose at the beginning, because you can go nomad and all that, but
right. Yeah. Anyway. So I think we've talked a lot about Cyberpunk, so we don't have to stay on it, but I think I think the biggest thing for many of us was the fact that it wasn't delayed. I think people were kind of nervous that this last Night City Wire, they would say, by the way, we've had to move it to 2021, but it looks like at all costs it's coming out here in less than 3 weeks, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, This game's been in development for a while now, because they started after Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Or during Witcher 3.
During Witcher 3, yeah. The original announcement for it was 7 years ago. Yeah, which is crazy to think about. So anyway, speaking of new IPs, we got an interesting surprise this week. So we got IO Interactive, and so IO Interactive, very, very well known for their Hitman series. Dan, I know you've played a ton of Hitman. They announced this week they've secured the Bond license, 007 license, and they're going to be making a game on that. Now, from the sounds of it, this is still early in development. They're calling it Project 007. Really no kind of core details about it. In fact, they later that day said they're still hiring for work on the game, so it's definitely not coming anytime soon. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about was, Peter and Leo, Dan and I have talked a lot about the potential for Perfect Dark from the initiative, and that potentially not replacing, but taking the role of the lack of Splinter Cell that we've seen for years and years now. So as I was thinking about Project 007 and what IO could do with this IP, if you think about the gadgets, the spy stuff, all the possibilities for a 007 game, it could be something in that realm where it feels like a Splinter Cell, feels like a Perfect Dark type game. But so I just want to ask you guys, you excited for this, and what do you want to see out of it? So Leo, I'll start with you, man.
Okay. First off, I don't have any connection to the Siphon Filter or the Splinter Cell stuff. I always confused it with Siphon Filter. That's the one I played.
All
so
right.
Splinter Cell to me is the guy in a lot of games.
Gotcha.
I never really sat down and played them. I'm hoping that it isn't just a clone of Hitman. You know what I mean? Just 007. But,
man, that'd be terrible.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I definitely, one of the questions I was going to ask you guys was exactly that is, how does IO make sure they separate this from
Can
Hitman?
they make another game that isn't Hitman? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of the same thing, Hitman, spy, kills, sneaks in, all that. It'll be interesting to see how they do it. And will it have how the gameplay and all that is. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with, though, because they do a great job with the Hitman series.
Yeah. What do you
But
think,
also,
Peter?
like, what kind of James Bond is this going to be? You know, is it going to be the guns blazing Daniel Craig kind of James Bond, or more
Action
the
movie.
Sean Connery? You know, kind of like kind of more spy than anything. So
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, what they showed, you see the bullet being loaded in the chamber, so it's definitely going to be more probably
I know
action
one thing,
shooting
the
rather
theme
than.
music is probably going to be awesome.
Yeah. You think they create a theme song for it, like the movies?
Mm-hmm.
No, for
I bet
sure.
they do.
Dan, I
Definitely
know you're
excited
big.
about it, so that's going to be cool.
They better have a badass opening, too, to go with the theme music.
Yeah, it's got to. Yeah, you got to animate the opening for it. So, Dan, you played a ton of Hitman. I know you've done reviews for us on Hitman. We've talked a lot about it. What you excited for this? Are you a Bond fan? And what would you want to see out of it?
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be some kind of origin story, right? So, according to the website, it was or that I saw,
Yes.
which is fantastic. Now they've got, like you said, they or Leo, they're kind of leaning into it with the Hitman stuff that they have already. The gameplay in Hitman, I don't think would be really. I don't think it would work well. In my mind, for like a 007 game, I think you can take some of that stuff and put it in it, but you also need, are they going to go like maybe do like an RPG kind of, thing, or, and like Peter said, is it going to be more actiony, or is it going to be more, subterfuge, or, I have no clue, and I don't know if their engine that they use currently for Hitman would be able to pull that kind of stuff off, no idea. So it's exciting to me because I'm a Hitman fan and I do love IOI, but it's I'm again optimistic. It's probably a super long way away.
Yeah.
So we're probably looking at like 2 years at least, maybe longer. But it's cool, man. We haven't had a good Bond game since GoldenEye, man.
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
I've only played that like twice, actually, because I never had a 64.
Yeah.
Have you guys recently, anytime in the past few years, tried to go back and play that?
No.
Don't.
I know what it looked like
the memory
before,
alive,
and I'm just
and
like,
that's it.
nope.
No. It will
It's not the
destroy
same.
your childhood. Do
Yep.
not go back and play it. It's terrible.
That was always the best part of it, was like doing like split screen co-op with my brother,
Of course.
and like going into a room and placing like proximity mines all around the door where he couldn't see it, and he would walk in and die every time, and then he'd start crying like a baby, and I would laugh like really, really hard. It was so much fun. Childhood, man.
I'm definitely going to date myself, but we were playing that in college. We would have nights where you just, tons of alcohol, pizza, and GoldenEye 4-player competitions all
I
night.
think I was in elementary.
Stop
when
it.
the 64s came
Stop
out.
it. But Dan, you're right. I totally forgot about that. It's a good shout out. They actually said the story is wholly original, and it will represent the first ever James Bond origin story, as the players will attempt to earn their 00 status.
Huh.
Awesome,
To
man.
become 001.
001.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
sounds
you have
cool.
7 lives and you go back.
I'm excited for it, though. I mean, IO is obviously talented. I think the other nice thing too is that these games that we're hearing about now being announced, right, they have the benefit of being developed into the new generation solely, right? So you've got those new development kits, you've got the new hardware, you can focus on the new hardware, which I think is a good thing. So that's cool.
Well, isn't Hitman 3 only going to be on next gen?
Yeah, Hitman 3 comes out when?
February?
Yeah, it's soon.
Well, technically it can't be because it's backwards compatible on the PS4 for VR. So it has to work on the PlayStation 4, I think. I think it's for both.
I'm literally
okay.
going off
Yeah,
memory.
I think
My
so.
bad. I thought it
was
was next gen only.
No, it's on everything. It comes out January. It's it's on everything when it's also on the Switch.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Oh, that's right. It's going to be a cloud game for Switch.
cloud game.
Mhm.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh yeah, like the streaming stuff.
That's
Like
why
they-
Control's on there. That's how
Yeah,
they
with Control.
play Control.
Mhm.
And I found
Ah.
out like last month that over in Japan, that's how they played Odyssey. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It was a cloud game over there.
I got you. Okay. All right.
Hmm.
So anyway, yeah, I guess they're probably putting the finishing touches on that on Hitman 3, and then we'll be moving on to this. So pretty cool. I don't know how big that team is, but if you're paying for the 00 license or the Bond license to make a game on, that's got to take some serious funding, right?
Yeah.
So I would imagine they're investing pretty heavily.
They're actually a pretty small team because I've seen a documentary on Hitman on NoClip, one of the best places to watch stuff, and their team is not that big.
Which is weird to me, right? Because you think the Bond license would be very expensive. So, yeah, I don't know. But you're right about NoClip. If you're not familiar with NoClip or haven't watched them, they are incredible.
They have a really good Witcher one, too.
Yes, they do. You're right. All right. So let's talk Avengers. I wanted to have a few laughs. I did. So I didn't play Avengers. We've talked about it. We've talked about it quite a bit here in terms of, it didn't really land. It kind of pulled an Anthem a little bit, right? Where it had these big expectations, especially given the Avengers license and success of the Marvel franchises lately. But a lot of problems with the game from all accounts. And Steve, who wrote the review for us, has also done multiple articles on the game for our site and kind of called out all the issues with the game too. So it came out this week that, so Square Enix apparently lost $63 million on this game. And that the game itself only sold 60% of what they planned. Which is, if you're a video game publisher and developer, that's not good. So the one I wanted to kind of ask you guys, well, if you've played it, I haven't played it, so you guys can talk
I own
more.
It.
Okay. Own it.
Own it. Yeah, I heard that too.
Very unique word. But yeah, I mean, does this surprise you at all? From the comments I've seen, not really, because of, the game didn't seem to be that good. But I think what's more interesting here is that now rumors are swirling that Square Enix, due to some lack of success on the Western side, is actually thinking of, and this is just a rumor, but thinking of selling off their Western development talent and focusing purely on the East, if you will. So, Square Enix is a pretty big holdings company and they have multiple developers, but they have companies like Crystal Dynamics, who made the Avengers in the West, that could obviously be a very talented developer elsewhere. So what do you think about this, man? $63 million loss on a single game.
I think they screwed themselves with the beta, honestly. I think when it came out, people were, it was just lackluster. Yeah. And I think people saw it. And, I canceled my pre-order for it, which is saying a lot. But then I ended up pre-ordering it like a day before. So throw that whole thing out the window. But, it didn't do itself any favors releasing in the state that it was. And that's, we've talked about it before, these gas games like that, you got to have not only a roadmap that's, thick, for lack of a better word, it's got to launch with a lot to do and not be super repetitive, but it's, that's what they all seem to be doing over and over and over again. I don't understand, maybe that's just how it is, maybe that's just what they're, what the model is for, for success. Obviously it's not, because, you just lost $60 million. You had an IP that was literally on fire with the Avengers. You had everything going for it. You had big, voice acting stars. You had, and then just, a decent. Like I say, it's a decent fighting game. I mean, if you're going, it's not bad. It's just not great. So you want to release something that's average, and then a month before, let people actually try it out to realize, this isn't really that good. It's one of those things where the demo kind of backfired, I think. Okay. Big time. So we'll see.
Do you think messaging also had some issue to do with it? Like you needed, actual money to get upgraded characters instead of, using them in game, and then the Spider-Man playable character only on PlayStation. Could it have anything to do with it as well? I mean,
I mean, I'm sure there are
turn
some
people
people
off
that,
a little.
yeah, they probably are like, hold that line. I'm not getting it because Spider-Man's not on the Xbox. That's fine. Do whatever you're going to do. But I don't know what like the percentage of that is, though. But you're right. I mean, it's so there's a lot of paying.
Well, I was going to say, I think Peter's point, right? There may have been a tiny percentage that didn't buy it because of the Spider-Man thing.
Yeah,
but right. I think the overall point Peter's making is probably valid in that if you look at the success of Spider-Man, the game, not the character, on PlayStation, right? That is a very well done, confined experience that focuses on the character, who is a very beloved character, right? Mm-hmm. And I think between Peter and Dan, what you both said is Dan's right in that the Avengers is on fire, right? I mean, a huge property in IP, but they somehow made it into this game that just didn't feel like, at least from an outside perspective, felt like they weren't doing the same justice to it from a game design perspective. Not necessarily the characters, because from what I understand, you guys can tell me otherwise, the characters are pretty well done, and you can unlock cool things like the comics and all that.
The characters are horrible.
They're horrible. Okay, they're not. So, Leo, you go ahead then, because I know you've played this more than me.
I'm a huge comic book fan. Like, I've been a comic book fan for as long as I could read. Like, okay. And this is pretty much aimed at someone like me. I mean? Look, at the comic book people, no matter how bad the gameplay is, there's the comic book people. So I should buy it and play it and love it and all this. But
yeah,
the one big thing that really gets to me with that game is there's no freaking characters. Like, they only use 3 major villains throughout the whole fucking game. Yeah, sorry for cursing.
You're fine. No. Don't worry. We don't have a no cursing policy.
No. Okay, I didn't know that. I was like, oh crap, I let it slip out. But you first Taskmaster at the very beginning of the game. That's the last time you see him.
Yep.
Then you first Abomination, which only for 1 level, and that's the last time you see him. And you play both those missions in the beta, so you've already used up all 2 of 3. And then you got MODOK, who is the main big villain. Why they chose him, I don't know. It's so stupid because he's a joke in the comics. He's literally just a big head on a hovering platform.
They're literally making like a Netflix series of him, like, and his family, like his wife and kids, with like Patton Oswalt playing him. It's hilarious. It's almost like stop motion claymation.
Like the main villain. Where's Dr. Doom?
Nothing.
Hell, go to the X-Men lore. Get Mr. Sinister. There's King the Conqueror. Hell, throw Thanos in there, even though he's been in the movies constantly for the last however many years.
Yeah.
But like, there's no. And you fight robots all the time. That's all you fight. Mobs of robots, and then a few AIM people. You could have put Hydra in there. You could have put the Hand in there, but no, you put robots. And like, the character-wise, the best one was Miss Marvel. She did a really good job, but the rest of them just didn't feel like the characters. Like, it was like they were confusing the comic book. Like, they read the comics and watched the movies at the same time and confused the two. You know what I mean? Because they act different in the movies compared to the comics.
Yeah. Sure. Also, Thor's voice actor, I like to throw that out there. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
What's that?
Well, with all
Bruce, he does Bruce Banner, and he was at Joel.
No, it was what's his face, the super pretentious doucher from the last episode. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he does Joel. Yeah, what is his name?
Troy Baker.
Troy Baker. Yeah, he's a douche.
Yeah, I did not like his Bruce Banner at all. Nolan North okay with Stark. It was pretty much meh. I expected more from him, to be honest, with how many people he's voiced. Same with the other guy. It's like, you would think they would do a lot better with it. I don't know if it was the writing or the direction. But like, the Black Widow was okay, but Miss Marvel was the one that stood out the most to me, voice acting and character-wise.
Yeah, I saw good things about her and everything I read, but I mean, just in this last couple minutes, you guys have really pointed out the problem, right? You've named like 4 or 5 different things that coming all together would really ruin the experience.
And also, the loot sucks. Like, the loot game is horrible.
So they're batting 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not great.
Yeah, well, there you go. I don't need to say anything. See, you guys covered it.
Barely get any. It's horrible.
So like, the thing that kind of annoys me in the conversation, not about the game itself, but I almost in a way, feel bad for Crystal Dynamics. Now, this was obviously when a game comes together with such a huge IP and comes together in this mess of gameplay systems like we saw here that seem to fail in different ways. It's pretty obvious, and we talked about this. Many groups talked about this prior to the game's release. Is that this looked like a game that kind of changed direction maybe several times, and they really didn't seem to know what they wanted it to be, and therefore you end up with this mess of gameplay systems. And so it's a shame because Crystal Dynamics, right? They're a talented studio. They made the Tomb Raider reboot, Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is considered by many to be one of the best Tomb Raider games ever made. And yet, here they are with this game that's now considered a pretty big financial failure and could really impact them as a development house. So especially if Square Enix is looking to sell them off.
I don't understand how the Tomb Raider people made it. It doesn't make any sense to me because I love the Tomb Raider games. And this game, I'm just like, and I'm a comic fan, like I said, so it's just like, I should be loving this game, but nope.
I'm exactly in Leo's shoes. I'm a huge comic book guy, and it's a huge swing and a miss. I mean,
if you want to get the comic book people, put comic book characters in the goddamn thing.
Yeah,
that's so annoying to me.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
I should have listened to Fork. He told me not to get it. I should have listened to him for once, but no, I had to get it.
Yeah. It had all the signs of a game that was going to land kind of flat. It just did.
Yeah.
It's a shame it didn't come together. I don't know what they plan for the future, if anything. When you've lost that much money on an IP, the question now will be, do they continue to put resources to it and try to salvage it in some way, or do they just scrap it and move on? Same question that Anthem had.
Anthem too.
Yeah, exactly. Now with Anthem, you have the backing of EA, and Anthem actually made money just because it sold so well based on hype alone. But we'll see. I don't know.
I don't think it will. I think they're going to end up scrapping it.
Think they just move on?
I don't think they have any idea what they're doing. Like what property they have. It seems like they know nothing about it. Like they've never read a comic book, like they might have watched the movie.
He's right, man. I mean, it's so true.
Look at the first DLC.
Right, exactly what I was about to say. Like you're going to release not even Hawkeye. You're going to release, some other,
Kate Bishop.
Yeah.
She's from Young Avengers.
Right. You've got Spider-Man. You got Black Panther.
Well,
potentially.
Hawkeye
Doctor
should have
Strange.
been in there already.
Right.
Like,
he was supposed to release like right after the game came out.
I meant
God, this is all your fault, Danes.
Like first Avenger, like before any DLC or anything, Hawkeye should have been in already since they were copying the movies anyways. Like, ooh, Hawkeye's a DLC character. Like, who gives a crap? I mean, after playing all those characters, do you really want to just play as someone with a bow? I mean, it's a superhero game, so give us superheroes. There's so many Avenger characters you could put in there. Hell, you could put Wolverine in there. He was an Avenger.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, but 63 million is a lot of money. I think, like in poker, you have to know when to fold. And
yes.
That's it. I mean, yeah.
I don't see, to your point, I don't see how you salvage this.
No.
I don't know either.
Now, funny to that point, we have an article on our site that Steve wrote, who is also a big comic fan, also reviewed it for us, and he wrote a theoretical article basically saying, how can you fix this game? So he wrote about that. Now, Leo, if you haven't checked that out, I'd be curious to see your thoughts on it, because I obviously didn't play the game, so I don't know, I don't really have any ideas there, but he put some time and effort into that, so check it out.
Okay.
Lady, what's going on? She said, I'm here lurking while I clean and just want to say loving the conversation.
I still got to read Dan's article on Valhalla. I didn't read it because I wanted to,
you're not missing anything, Leo. You're not missing anything.
It's fantastic.
Thanks, lady. Appreciate it. That avatar is awesome, by the way. Who did that? Did Sean do that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. So cool. So let's real quick. I want to touch on this comment that Jim Ryan, our favorite guy, made this week. Very small comment, but interesting nonetheless. So PlayStation, he was doing an interview with an outlet, I forget which one, but the topic of Game Pass came up, as it tends to do with PlayStation now, because Game Pass has been so successful. People keep waiting for PlayStation to respond in some way. And all he said was, I don't have the quote in front of me, but essentially said, there is news to come on that front. And so this has, of course, led to more speculation that, hey, PlayStation is going to do something either with PS Plus, with PS Now, or do something basically to modify their service offering to compete with Game Pass. Been saying for a long time they have to do that. It's just smart business sense at this point. But want to get your guys' thoughts here. First of all, do any of you use PlayStation Now?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Okay.
Mhm.
Did you get a PS5 as well, Leo?
No, I just have
Okay.
the PS4.
Okay. All right. So your thoughts then, if you've used PS Now, right?
I love PS Now. Actually.
You love it?
I play it has so many games I can't play anywhere else because there's
Right.
so many JRPGs on there and just RPGs in general, and I love RPGs.
Yep.
And I've missed out on a lot of games thanks to not having a PS3, so I've been able to catch up on a lot of them.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you use it as kind of your, for lack of a better term, backwards compatibility service.
In a way, yes. There's also a few JRPGs that are released on the PS4 that I just found out about by just going through their library.
Cool. That's very cool. So do you use Game Pass as well?
Yes.
Okay. So in your opinion then, since you're someone who uses both, Game Pass has been this huge success. And we could talk about why and the reasons why forever, but PS Now, still from a subscriber base standpoint is still pretty dated. They don't have the brand new games like we've talked about. But if you as a subscriber of both, what's the way I can phrase this? What do you think PlayStation needs to do with PS Now to make it a more enticing option for more people? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, one thing they could do that would make it way better is to, as soon as a new game comes out, put it on there.
Yeah, so you want day and date.
They do, yeah, just like how Game Pass does it with the Xbox main titles. And also they need to basically get more games on there that would appeal to other people. They put their stuff on there for a couple months and then take it off, which is so weird to me. You'd think, they own the properties and they take them off, leave it on there, and people will be like, oh, look, God of War. Oh, look, Days Gone.
Yeah.
And then also they don't really have it seems like Microsoft has more going for them with the developers of other titles. They get more stuff than
third party deals.
And also they need to make it so you can download the games, because there's a lot of the PS3 games that you can't download. You have to stream them to play it. Yeah. Which, if you don't have a good bandwidth, it's gonna suck. I tried playing Batman Arkham Origins on there. Yeah, that was horrible. I had so many issues with it. It just video wise, control wise, it just was not working for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that's go ahead, Peter.
No, I don't see that happening anytime soon, though.
Oh yeah,
down with the PS3 because otherwise they would have had PS3 BC already baked in. So I think it's
a wish.
Wish list.
I know they're not going to, but it'd be nice if they would, because it makes it so much easier to play games.
Sure. Yeah, I think I think the biggest conversation point when you compare to Game Pass, the first thing people always say is the whole day and date thing. And I think there's a lot of debate whether Sony will ever go that route. I don't know. Anecdotally, I think the consensus is they won't, because they see too much value in their IP from a sales perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I doubt they will.
Yeah, and they need that more. Not to be funny, but they need that more than Xbox does. So I don't know. What are Peter? You got any thoughts on this on PS Now? You're not a subscriber, so what would get you to subscribe?
Maybe if it's part of PS Plus, a PS Ultimate.
Okay.
Maybe. Also, if they, if they put their first party games, if they release it day one, that would be great. Even day plus 30, something more recent, and keep those games in it.
Yeah. So pretty much what Leo said too. You need better content offering. I think Leo's point is valid, right? You own these IPs. Why are you putting them in a timed way into your service? Why would you put them in and pull them back out? It doesn't really make a lot of sense, especially when you can get games like God of War now or Horizon, which are a few years old, why would you pull those out of a service when you can buy them for $10 and $20? You're not making much money on them. It's very strange.
Makes no sense.
No, very strange to me. Let me get to the super chat. Mo, what's up, man? Hope you have a great show, guys. Dan's looking up tips online how to finish Yakuza like a dragon. Probably his obsession with the series continues. 100%. 100%. So
Not happening.
Now he's a fake Yakuza fan. We've seen it come to light. He doesn't really care
What
for
in
it.
the hell kind of shit statement was that?
Hey, if you're not buying the latest entry, you can no longer be considered a fan. It just
Well, it went turn-based. I know a lot of people that go away from series.
garbage.
Once it goes turn-based.
Great garbage.
So Dan, I know we've talked about PS Now before. Neither you or I have subscribed, but anything new to add here besides the obvious that we've already kind of said?
Not really. I mean, it's you increased your prices to $70 a game. It's not happening. I don't think it's not going to happen. I mean, I want it to happen. You know, I want them to come day and date. You know, it's a successful model. It's not necessarily super profitable yet. You know, say like Game Pass. You know, but with every when you see 15 million, probably close to 20 million subscribers now, if not more. Yeah, you're gonna. The more you entice people to come into it, you know, with whatever it is you have to put in there, the more potential you have to start, you know, really making money hand over fist, you know, and Sony, you know, will have to take a small hit, you know, initially if that's what they want to do and come day and date with their stuff, or they don't, and I still buy them, so it doesn't really matter, you know. It's crazy.
I think Peter's point of timed exclusivity is probably the most interesting. Because, you know, why would you not say these games come 60 days later or whatever it is, you know, a specific time period? Because then you still capture all the early adopters from a paid perspective.
Yeah, early adopters want to adopt it anyways. They're not even waiting for the game to go on sale. So,
right.
You know?
Right. So you're going to still get your sales, but it would make the service itself a lot more enticing if, you know, you had a game. What's a big game? Miles Morales, we'll just use. If, you know, starting on January 1st, Miles Morales was in PS Now, you know what I mean, for the PS5. Whereas, you know, them saying, okay, you can now play Horizon, which is 3 years old, and then they pull it out after a couple months. It just doesn't make any sense. No one's doing that.
Nope.
So.
I'll say one thing: the PS Plus is way better than the Xbox Gold.
For the free games, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. We
yeah.
talked about that last week, actually. Yeah.
Leaps and bounds.
I think Xbox is mostly given up on the on Xbox Gold game.
I think Xbox can give up on it because I mean,
I am wondering if PlayStation will do what Xbox did and convert PS Plus members or PS Now PS Plus members into PS Now if they ever combine them.
Yeah.
Because that was a big thing for Xbox. They got a lot of subscriptions for that.
It just makes sense because then I got to pull out my favorite word, but then you've got the person tied into the ecosystem at that point, right?
Yeah.
Christian, do you think once Sony does that, do you think the PS Plus games and the Xbox Gold games freebies will go away? I mean, what's the point at that point, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Try to get people in their service and get them to pay them every month. It's more lucrative than.
I'm kind of mixed on it because the games, to your guys' point, right? The gold games lately have been kind of a joke. I don't even think I add them to my library half the time. But there are, you know, that's us, and I'm an early adopter, buy everything, you know what I mean? Whereas there are people out there I know who if it's a free game, it's a free game. It's still something. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Get all those licenses though. Make sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Carl, thanks, man. Super chat. You got 5 quid. One word on Sony IP sales. You put big titles on to get subs, but you take them off when you see the run rate sales drop. Yeah, that's fair. So that's going back to the whole timed exclusivity thing too, which, you know, I have to imagine if you know about Game Pass, right? Phil's been pretty clear that Game Pass has who's got the phone on loud? Leo.
My bad.
Game Pass took them years to set up. It's not something you can just turn on, right? And so it wouldn't surprise me to see Sony's been working on something for this for a while now. but it takes a long time to just bring to light, right? Bring to fruition. So, it won't surprise me to see something soon from Sony in this regard.
I'll
Bring
give
it,
you my
man.
sister's number so you can yell at her.
All right, man. Let's touch on the Game Awards. So Game Awards are coming up here shortly. We have had some interesting comments about the Game Awards lately, especially since they announced the nominees, which is always fun. I didn't want to go through the whole list because there's a ton of categories for the Game Awards, of course. But I did want to just talk about the big one, which is Game of the Year. And then I had one other list here. So I do have some thoughts on Game of the Year, and I'm not one that's going to rant or rave or really even care who's nominated for this. But the Game of Year nominees for the Game Awards are Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizon, and Last of Us 2. Now, what I really find interesting about this, well, first, before we get there, the cutoff date is November 20th. I looked it up this morning, right? So that means that
Yesterday.
yesterday, any game that came out before yesterday is eligible. Which I found really interesting. So I don't know if you know this, but it wasn't always the 20th. It was
last year was the 13th or something.
Yeah. So the weird thing was, if you remember earlier this year, they said Cyberpunk, when it was releasing on November 19th, was not going to be eligible.
Huh.
Yeah. Now Cyberpunk's delayed, and now the eligibility date is the 20th. How did that happen?
Amen.
Yeah, because I remember last
Game
year,
Awards.
wasn't it Star Wars that missed out? That
Yes.
Fallen Order?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's nominated this year for a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Or some stuff.
I don't know why. That game's horrible.
That's a whole. We're not getting into that, Leo. Stop getting us off track. So what I wanted to ask you guys is, are there any games in this Game of the Year list, these 6 they nominated, that you think should be on that list from a critical perspective? I'm not talking about your personal favorites, but
Borderlands
critically, what game do you think should be on there? What'd you say, Leo?
Borderlands 3.
Borderlands. Okay.
I know what game should not be on that list.
Go for it.
Animal Crossings. The whole fiasco with that one island, and the first person who created that island is the main character. Is like, I had my daughter create the first island and she never plays. And it's like, here I'm sitting down there trying to, get stuff to appear, and it never appears because I'm not the main person. That should be like, it's so bad. A disqualification.
So, Dan, I don't know what you're doing over there, but do you have anything for
Sorry.
Game Awards?
Listen, I think Ori should be on that list. I mean, for sure. I don't know about Doom. If I'm just going off of basically, what I've seen, I'm not. Yeah, Doom is huge, but also Hades, while it seems to be loved by many, many people, it's also I don't know how many people actually played it. So, like, I'm kind of in the same boat you are, though, right? Because it doesn't really matter in the end. I would have liked to have seen Ori be on there because even though it's not my type of game, it's still gorgeous and it plays well and it's a really well done game. The 4 or 5 hours that I got into it, so it's I don't know. It doesn't matter in the end. No, but you always root for.
Well, of course.
Team,
I mean,
and stuff like that. So,
if you're nominated or especially if you win, you're going to get, it's going to increase sales. It's going to help recognition. I think the one thing I'm struggling with, and you guys kind of touched on this at a high level, is you've got, let's talk about the games that aren't on the list. So Ori was one that was called out probably because of Xbox guys, but regardless, Ori is a game that's super highly critically rated, right?
Yeah, regardless.
Yeah. Another thing that I noticed this morning, as I was writing this out, is Demon's Souls isn't on this list. Demon's Souls is rated higher than 5 out of these 6 games. It meets the cutoff, and people will say, well, it's a remake. Well, Resident Evil 2 was up for Game of the Year last year. So why wouldn't Demon's Souls be on the list? So my
point was Final Fantasy VII remake. I mean, literally.
Oh, duh. Yes, thank you. I didn't even think about it. But that's why I'm kind of confused, right? You've got 2 games in Demon's Souls and Ori, and there's probably others that are rated over 90 in terms of OpenCritic, Metacritic, blah, 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 that are way higher than I'm not trying to poke fun because I know this is your game, Dan, but Ghost of Tsushima's Metacritic score is 82. It's not even in the same ballpark as some of these other games. What's the other one? Doom is like 85 or 84. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand who's making the decisions when you've got much higher critically rated games that are left off the list.
I was actually surprised Luigi's Mansion wasn't on there out of all the Switch games, because a lot of people love that game.
Yeah. Well, and that's the weird thing, right? It's like Ghost of Tsushima. I know a lot of people, including Dan, I believe, who have this as their game of the year. And I think it's a great game. But what's the criteria? Where does personal opinion come in for the people that get to put the games in this list? Because people mistakenly say, "Oh, Keeley chose it." Keeley doesn't have anything to do with it. So, but there is a group of people that get to select these games.
Right. Jeff Grubb came out and said, "Hey, listen, don't put too much stock in this. We literally got this stuff during our console release. You know, during the time when they got the stuff, and it was kind of like one of those things. Is like, oh, we got to get this done real quick." And so there was so much going on, so that might have played a part of it. You know, I don't know for sure. Well, 93.
Yeah. Asa, what's up, dude? That was another one I forgot to mention, so I'm glad you mentioned it. Is Half-Life Alyx is 93. I mean, I went through this morning writing these notes up, and I was like, there's multiple games that are notably higher rated than the games on this list that should be nominated, but they're not. It's very strange to me.
Now, what's wrong? Are the ratings wrong, or this list is wrong?
Fair too. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all one thing or another, right? Yeah. But I wish they were more clear about the criteria on how these games get on this list.
Doesn't sound like they really have any. It's like it sounds like they go out to these people that have been picked. You know, I mean, last year it was, you know, it was like the high console, right? Or whatever it was, like where they had like a certain like Phil and everybody else, where they had like these specific people that just put these games on the list. Now this year it sounds like they went out to, you know, maybe different media, like, you know, with Jeff Grubb, you know, or maybe it's just kind of like a mix of all of this stuff. It's just weird. So I mean, do they just say, okay, well, I'm going to put, you know, what's your game of the year? And this guy sends in 5, you know, his 5 or 6 picks, and the next guy sends his 5 or 6 picks. They just add them up and then just say, there you go. You know, so, I mean, it's so, you know,
arbitrary.
Yeah. Arbitrary. Right. It's just, it's whatever, you know? So, I mean, that's why it just doesn't matter. I mean, it's cool to watch, and it's really going to be more for the videos and the, you know, the new stuff that we see. That's going to be the biggest thing for me. But yeah,
that's the only reason I watch it is for the new stuff.
That's it, man.
Yeah, I think that's true of a lot of people. Probably.
I figure it's like the Oscars. Whoever gives the best freebies, their game gets put on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I didn't put as much weight into it until I went through this morning and kind of looked at all these games ratings and what they were reviewed, and then looked at the games that were left off. And then I was like, all right, this is definitely screwy. And I think Asa makes a great point, is that, you know, something like Half-Life Alyx is a 93 rated, but it also broke new ground, right, to his point, and pushed VR forward, where a game like, not trying to make fun of Animal Crossing, but to Peter's point, there's a lot of problems with that game. It's definitely a unique audience. But it's also the best-selling game of the year. How does that factor in?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
You can thank COVID for that.
It's the Nintendo name. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Fork, what's up, brother? Again, man, Fork, too much money on us chumps over here, man. I appreciate it, though. Video game awards are biased. They like what they want, and they don't care for what actually is good. Yeah, and I think that's our problem, right? Is if they're just gathering a group of media and saying, okay, what's your opinion on this? Well, that doesn't really hold much weight to me.
Yeah. I mean, or is it a factor of all this stuff? Is it sales? Is it, you know, the meta, you know, is mixed in there? Is it, and then these people's opinions, you could have 15
that would make more sense. A scoring criteria.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's you know, but Metacritic is, you know, is not, you know, the be all end all. It never has been, right? But that's just a place where you can go, you know, but it's not directly connected necessarily with, you know, Keeley and the Game Awards. Yep. So it could be completely different. It all depends on who they have on their, you know, super high console over there.
How many entries? I mean, how many people are voting? Yeah.
That's the thing. You know, it's
I
just,
looked that up last year. I don't know this year though.
What was it last year? Do you know? Because I mean,
Sure, I
if
wouldn't even know.
it's like
Forget.
you know, say the pool is not large and only 5 people wrote down like Doom, but there's the spread of games is so large that you know Doom will make it to this list, even though you know the amount of votes it got is low. I mean,
I think it's
many way
around
to
100 people, something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to find out real quick, but I don't.
So you only need to have like a few of those people with the same game, and it automatically makes this on this list.
Yeah, yeah.
I know one thing: if they pick the winner by drama, Last of Us will win. Good grief!
So why don't we go ahead and go ahead? Let's make our selections now, and we'll see what happens. What game you guys think is going to win out of these 6?
Ghost.
Ghost. Okay.
Last of Us.
Jeez.
Or maybe that was my personal favorite and also my game of the year. So
Okay.
slightly biased, but rooting for them.
Dan.
Sure. Like mine is Ghost of Tsushima right now.
Yeah.
But who I think is going to win, man, I bet you it's either Final Fantasy VII or Last of Us 2. I would say it's probably one of those.
That's who I think will win too.
I think
one
that's
of
who I
those
think
two.
will win. But Ghost of Tsushima is not even.
I'd be
close.
happy with Ghost or Doom to
Yeah. Doom doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I don't think it does either.
No, I don't think.
But then
it will.
again,
I think
Sekiro run, didn't they, last year or something like that?
Yeah.
Sekiro won last year. Yeah. I think Last of Us 2 is going to win for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
It's just nominated in so many different things, despite the controversy surrounding it, of course.
Sure.
I wanted to mention this real quick too, from a character perspective. This is the only other category I wanted to touch on is performance, because some of these are pretty notable, I know, and some of you guys really like this. So Ashley Johnson, who is, of course, is Ellie. Laura Bailey, very well-known voice actress, was Abby. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Daisuke Tsuji as Jin from Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Logan Cunningham as Hades, and Naji Jeter maybe as Miles Morales. So if you had to pick the best character who was voiced and acted as between Ellie, Abby, Jin, Hades, and Miles, where are you guys landing on that? Now I haven't played Miles, I haven't played Hades, so I can't.
I
really
would
comment.
say Abby or Hades.
Okay.
Right. I'd go with that.
Because like the voice acting in Hades is really good, like really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Despite what you think of the story of the characters, you have to look at the voice acting.
But
there.
Abby is really well done too.
Yeah. Well, Laura Bailey's. Yeah, she's very good.
I never cared much for what's her name, the other one from Last of Us.
Ashley.
Yeah, I've never really cared for her voice acting, to be honest.
Daisuke. Oh, thank you, Elu and Walt. They said it's Daisuke Tsuji. God, I messed that one up.
Man,
But
Yeah, I think Ashley Johnson was better as Ellie in The Last of Us 1, the first one. And the
Yeah, I
second one.
agree.
But I think,
Gotcha.
voice actor for Jin was really good.
Hmm.
I mean, it's really, came together really well.
yeah.
that with that one,
It felt very natural.
I did it all in Japanese, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And Miles is great, but
I
don't know
if I don't know.
I don't know if he could go up against. I mean, really, I think it'll be one of the first two. It'll be Ellie or Abby. So I
Did
think
they get
one of
the
those
same guy from Spider-Verse to do the game?
No, because it's
Okay.
because he was in the first game as well. Different guy.
I forgot people hated Abby.
Yeah, I think personally, I think Last of Us 2 is going to run away
With a
with
lot
of these awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, including
100%.
this one, whether it's Ellie or Abby.
Hell, they'll probably even win fighting game.
Oh man. All right, so we can move off the Game Awards. I know it's coming up. I'm more curious, as you guys said, to see some of the premieres we see during it. But I hadn't really paid attention to any of this drama, and I don't really care. But when I actually put the notes down this morning and saw Game of the Year nominees, and then kind of looked across like what games are rated and the cutoff date, I was like, how did some of these other games miss out? It doesn't really make any sense. So anyway, all right. Before we get to what we're currently playing, I give you guys the opportunity, as we do every week now, as to what is grinding your gears. So, Peter, Leo, if you're not familiar with this is our short
I've seen
segment.
Family Guy.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Short segment. You got anything that's annoying you, or you just want to call out in terms of the video game industry, not in your personal life? Leave that over there. Go for it. Anything, or I'll start with Dan. Give you guys a second. Dan, you got anything this week?
No, man, I'm good. I've been kind of off Twitter, so nothing to really get upset about, you know.
Except for making dance videos, you know.
Yeah, and dance videos, right? Yeah, that's all I gotta do. That's what you know. I will just say Valhalla solidly a 7. It's all good though. I still enjoy my time.
Well, I know what's grinding my gears now.
Yeah.
Dan's rating on.
Yeah, I was gonna say bad review scores of good games.
You
That's what
literally
was
have
getting
you even gotten to England yet?
No, I haven't played it enough yet because I got it at around
You'll understand.
5 o'clock yesterday. I had
Yep.
played it for an hour. Then I had to go and stream with Forking Crew, and then
Gotcha.
I got up today, made some breakfast, had to do some things around the house, and I still haven't played it yet today. So I'll play it later tonight or tomorrow. So I haven't really had enough time into it to really say if it's, you know, a great game, good game, bad game.
It's higher than a 7.
No.
You
The
sound
average
biased.
game technically is a 5.
We
Or
don't
is
have
it
to stay
above
on
average.
it. So
Above average.
Dan has some valid complaints. I will say that there are absolutely valid complaints with the game. There are things that if I had my way, I would definitely change. There are things that are annoying about it. But that said, when you take the positives of the game and what they created and the breadth of it and the world and everything else, I really still enjoy it despite that.
I do too. That's the thing. I really do. Until I realized that I was playing Odyssey again. Literally the same story. The same story. So whatever, you know, if you played Odyssey and you want, hey, we've got these 2 siblings. One of them's a dick. The other one seems like a nice person. And then, you know, and they're trying to, you know, not be a dick. And, you know, it's literally the same thing. And then in between all that stuff is you doing the same thing in different areas of the map over and over again with like one cutscene that tries to, you know, make you emotionally attached to it. Except once you are, you literally forget about it the next time you go to a different area. It's literally the same thing. And I haven't played the main story in 30 hours. 30 hours.
Yeah, but that could be true of any. I'm sure you'll be able to do that in Cyberpunk too.
I said that wrong. Okay, I've been playing the main story. Okay, I haven't had any kind of connection to the actual storyline for 30 hours, and that's not going to do side quests and stuff. This is doing the main story. The entire length of the story, I'm just like, what in the hell is the point of all this garbage?
Which one is the Dick Eivor?
Well, no, you know, you've got, you know, your brother, right? Sigurd. You know, this is all early, so I'm not really spoiling anything. And then you've got Eivor, right?
Wait,
they are the siblings.
I thought
right?
Sigurd was the son of the king.
Sigurd's like your brother. You know, like
gotcha.
He's not your sibling, but he's your
Yeah, they're basically like they adopted or something.
Yeah.
And then it's whatever. It's basically the same thing. I mean, it's Odyssey. It's okay. Sorry, whatever your name is in Odyssey, Maxios, Maxipad. I don't know what his name was. I think Cassandra. You basically have you know the 2 people that are
Alexios.
fighting. Yeah, Alexios. Terrible.
Each time when I see that guy, it's like, I'm so glad I didn't pick him.
I know,
man,
no
he's
doubt,
such
no
a-
doubt.
Right.
Oh,
Ace said you're spoiling at least 2 games here, and probably next year's as well.
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
Don't listen to Dan, Peter. It's a good game. You'll enjoy it.
But I played it
You
so
can
far,
still enjoy it. I'm
yeah.
just telling you, don't get your hopes up and understand that it is literally the same thing repeated over and over and over and over again.
See. Pampa, $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Ains, for getting Dan to have something to grind my gears when he said he had nothing. See,
Yep.
Pampa understands what I'm doing. I got Dan going. That's
You
all
got
we
me
needed
going.
to do.
Ains is over there. Dance.
Listen,
bud,
I
dance.
really want to do the show, the one-off season gaming, me and Angela having a debate. Once we both finish the game all the way, you know, I will talk to Luke Lore, Insipid Ghost, and he can moderate. All right, because you can't. You cannot. I got to get you out of the picture. You cannot be here at all. I need at least a slightly less biased, moderator, I don't need, no. So we'll get that going. We'll see what comes of it.
Yeah,
And
so
we'll,
Phasma and Dan are going to debate on Valhalla
yes,
one-on-one.
when we're all done. It'll be a spoiler cast. There we go.
It'll be fun. All right, well, we got something for grinding gears. Leo, Peter, anything you want to rant about? Go for it if you do.
Yeah, we need to connect 3.0 because what's a dance game like Just Dance without a camera? You can't hold a phone in your hand and shake that thing. What the heck? That's kind of my game.
Connect 3.0. I did not expect to hear that today on today's show, but I love it. I love it.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I love Connect. Connect's underrated. Yes, it wasn't the best for games, but other things it was awesome.
Yes.
And to your point, for games like Just Dance or other things,
right.
Cool
yeah. Can't do it without.
Connect Bros for sure.
Oh, that is something that grinds my gears, Spook.
What's
There's no
that?
freaking new fighting games coming out until next year, and there's one. What the hell? They show all these next gen games for the last 6 months, not one freaking fighting game. Not one.
Fighting games as a genre have they've grown into a niche where they used to be a really big genre. It's more of a niche genre now.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11, the Ultimate Edition came out, but it's just adding 3 characters. That's the only thing they're adding to it.
Yeah.
There's no Street Fighter 6. There's no Tekken 8. There's no new fighting game I've never even heard of that looks awesome.
Did you?
You know
you did see that Capcom did say Street Fighter 6 is coming.
Yeah, I saw that, but it's not here. Like, there's no trailer. There's nothing. They're like,
nothing.
all
to get
these
you
next
excited.
gen games, and it's just like, where's a fighting game? Like Killer Instinct 2, that would have been awesome.
Yep.
I mean, Killer Instinct was one of the best fighting games made, so why can't they make another one? I know it did good sale wise, and that was on what was it? You get 2 characters at the beginning, like it was a free to play with 2 characters, and then you could buy into it.
Yep.
And it has one of the best netcodes ever. Like the next new fighting game doesn't come out until February with Guilty Gear.
Yep.
Nice.
It's been annoying me.
Well, there you go. All right. Let's talk about what we're currently playing. So I wanted to touch real quick. Peter, did you get I know you got a Series X, right?
Yes.
Did you get a PS5 as well?
I did.
Okay.
Nice.
I did.
So we all have a Series X, and Leo. No, you don't, Leo. You're playing on the S.
Systems.
Yes. Okay. So Peter, I'll ask you then. How are you? You still enjoying the system since launch? Any issues? Anything that's annoying you, or are you really enjoying them?
The thing that annoys me with the Series X is might have to do with my monitor or a combination of both. I'm having here a 2K monitor with HDR.
Okay.
And basically, when you go into a game and then go back to a desktop or using one of the auto kind of apps, basically my screen turns black and I can't change it without either unplugging the monitor or the HDMI cable and basically get a new handshake and then the game works.
I have the same issue. Is it when it's switching between HDR and non-HDR?
Yes.
Yep, I have the same issue.
Yeah. So and I was hoping that so I joined the Alpha Skip Ahead.
Yeah.
And it seemed to work fine till yesterday. So I don't know if it got a new update or it's still broken. So.
Yeah, that's weird, but I do have that issue as well. I thought at first it might have been my receiver because I run through a receiver to the TV,
right. Mm-hmm.
But no, it definitely seems like some type of handoff issue. It's pretty frustrating to your point because then I have to unplug the TV and plug it back in to reset the thing.
Right, yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So, but what have you been playing on them?
What I've been playing on the PlayStation 5, I checked out Bugsnax because I know I will be here on the show, and
good choice. Game of the year.
Yeah, that was short-lived.
That's fair. Also fair.
Let's keep with that. But that Astro game is phenomenal. It's really, really cool. Really enjoying that. Also played Days Gone because now with 60 frames per second, very, very smooth. I haven't played that game yet, so I started it up too. It's like, oh man, it's really good. But there's so much to play, and I started playing on the Series X, played Valhalla just a little bit. Watch Dogs 3, great game. Doesn't save though; it's broken. I lost progress for 2 days in a row. Got so pissed, and I'm like shelving that till they patch it. And now I'm playing back Odyssey again because I love Cassandra and still have some more stuff to do. Finish the main story, but just the side stuff. I just
cool.
At least I have that eagle. I can see stuff.
Yes.
Cool. Leo, what you been up to, man? I know you've been grinding in Destiny.
Yeah, that's another game that's been grinding my gears, but freaking I've been juggling a few games. Like I've been going back and like I just got Valhalla yesterday, so I haven't really had a chance to play too much of that. But I've been playing Watch Dogs Legion. Pretty fun game so far. I've actually been lucky and had no issues with it so far, and I've heard of a lot of people having issues with it. I'm lucky. I've been playing Borderlands 3, obviously. I go back and forth with that one. I was playing Ghost the other day, too. Tsushima. Yeah. I think I said that right. And then I've been playing Tales of Mysteria.
Oh, okay. How's that?
Oh, it's an awesome game.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Tales games.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that when that came out, I know people were saying like if you're looking for a good JRPG, like a new one, that a lot of people were waiting on that one, but I haven't checked it out.
Oh yeah, it's really good, and it's not turn-based, Dan. Don't worry.
My God.
And you get a hoverboard.
Okay. Hey.
Sold.
Yeah.
Like they get just like little cool things. You know what I mean? They're just fun to do.
Yeah, that's cool. So speaking of fun to do and solid turn-based RPGs, you playing Yakuza yet, Dan?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, that's right. You're not a fan. Yeah, you're not a fan. I forgot. Yeah,
we've already passed the grinding my gears section. All right, and you know what? I'm gonna talk to Nick about it. All right, because Nicholas Downey, Undead.
He seems to be loving it.
He seems to be loving it. No, come on, Nick. This is a Nick with a NICH.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I love the Yakuza games. I've talked about this before. Turn-based thing turns me off. The biggest thing, though, is we talked about this a little in the chat, Haynes. It's Yakuza always found a balance between the hysterical and the crazy, stuff that the culture, injects into the game, and also the seriousness and tone of the story. So, but they never really crossed paths all that much, and when they did, it was kind of minor. So my worry is that if I'm over there, and I don't know what the storyline is, like I'll just take like a Yakuza game where his girlfriend was killed by, whatever, and I'm going to fight this guy that killed her, and I'm going over there with a cracked pepper shaker and a guitar and playing really loud beats to kill him. It sounds ridiculous and stupid. So that's my biggest fear. Like if it was just like turn-based, maybe. If it was, and I'm sure you could choose, but all the most powerful stuff is going to be that guy that's, got like a toaster that shoots out like special toast and kills, or something stupid like that. That's all I've seen. I want regular turn-based combat and all that fun stuff. Keep it over here. Don't mix. You're getting them mixed up. It's like oil and water here. It doesn't work for me.
You can cosplay as Gene Simmons in it.
Steve, right? Yeah, it's crazy to me. Like it's so like immersion breaking for me. It would be that I'm afraid to pick it up.
Did you like Judgment?
I love Judgment, but that was also a beat 'em up more than it was any kind of turn-based thing. It was basically Yakuza with different characters, which is fine, and they did a really good job for it with it. It's just, but they didn't take away the base,
game mechanic.
Yeah, the mechanic. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, turn-based, I might be able to, go toward. I mean, it's just but the whole ridiculousness of it, you just can't take it. There's got to be a level, and I'm curious to see what people say about that. I really want to, because I would love to play it. I just refuse to spend money on it until I know better.
I remember the first time I played Yakuza, and I found out I could pick up a bike and beat someone senseless with it. Like I did it on accident. You just picked it up, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
All right, so you've been putting in a ton of time into Valhalla. What else you got going on? Because I think we've tackled Valhalla enough for one day.
Valhalla. I should finish that this weekend. I did Miles. I played it 100%ed.
Did you platinum it?
Not yet.
Okay.
You got to do a whole new game plus, which is fine because you can use. Once you do the new game plus, you can literally just breeze through the main story. It would probably take you 8 to 10 hours.
Okay.
It took me about 21 hours to 100% all the collectibles, all the missions, everything in Miles Morales. I got the review about halfway done. Okay. It's been kind of struggling with a couple things. So that should be out, I would say, by Monday. Or I'll have it to you by Monday. And then that's really it. Oh, the Pathless. I played the Pathless.
Oh, yeah.
That
Heard
game,
good things.
Yeah. I was super shocked. I hate those games, right? I hate those kind of games, those little kind of indie, weird mechanic kind of stuff. It is super good. And it's fast. Like once you get into it a little bit, it's actually really enjoyable. I haven't even barely scratched the surface, but that's probably going to be the next one I do after Valhalla and finish that off. So hopefully it keeps up what it's doing. We'll see. Okay. Short, right. And then of course Bugsnax, but that goes without saying.
Stop it. You're not actually playing it. I know you're not.
I've got at least 2 hours in that game.
That's way too much.
That's probably way too much.
Yep. I've got like 15 minutes and I think I've had my fill, but we'll see. So let me add, obviously Demon Souls. I talked about that last week. If you love the Souls games, it's an absolute must play. It's fantastic. Been streaming that. If you want to stop by sometime and just enjoy it, even if you don't play the game, it's definitely a good time. Let me shout out Sackboy real quick.
Yeah, I'm playing that too.
Yeah, Sackboy is. I know it kind of got a little flack for being one of those goofy launch games. I don't think it's necessarily goofy. It's just that it's a 3D platformer, and those are inherently more, cartoony or kid-like games. It is a fantastic game. It's fantastic. I think it's probably the surprise for me of this launch because I knew Demon Souls was going to be amazing, right? I know the update to Gears and Gears Tactics are great games and, all these other things. Everyone knew Miles was going to be a great game. But Sackboy is very, very good. If you like 3D platformers, I'm going to keep preaching about it because I want people to buy that game. I want it to be successful. So check it out, please.
Is it on PS4?
It's on PS4 as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's PS4 and PS5. I think it's not even a full price. I think it's $50. So, $10 less.
I've heard a lot of good things from Wilmy about it too.
I'm telling you, man. You got to know what to expect. It's a lighthearted, cutesy, fun game, but it's got so much charm. The mechanics are really well done. The level designs it's just really, really good. It's really good. So, probably hear me talking about that game for a while, but I put up a clip yesterday on my Twitter feed of one of the levels that I was literally in my game room playing it and I was laughing out loud. I was the only one down here. I probably look like a psychopath, but I was laughing out loud playing it because of how well it was done. It's just so cool. And then I got back into Destiny because my stepson is an addict and I want to be able to play it with him. So I started playing that and it's still Destiny. It's really fun to play. The gun mechanics are great, but damn, half the time I'm like, do I really need to just sit here and grind the same level over and over again to do something?
Yes, that's how the game works.
I know, and that's what made me stop playing it. And it's like,
did you hit 1200 yet?
I just last night. I'm at 1207.
Just so you know, it gets worse.
I know.
I've been it took me 2 days to get a piece of armor that was above what I had.
Oh.
That was
the highest light level right now.
1260 is the highest you could go if you get your artifact maxed out, which no one has. But 1240 is the main high light level.
The thing that's the problem is, Dan, so my stepson kept saying get to 1200, right? That's the new kind of base. Yeah. So I started brand new and you start at 1050 now with the new game. With Beyond Light.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm still
at 30 when I played it last.
And for people that were that have played before, all your weapons go to 1050 automatically, even if they were lower than that.
Yeah, it's like everyone's just set there.
Oh, okay.
So I played the new campaign they have, which is very strange, like I mentioned last week or the week before, is because for someone like me who hasn't played in years, you're literally playing the beginning of Destiny 1 again from 2013 or 2014. It's very strange.
Huh?
when you start a new character now, it's literally Destiny 1 from when it launched.
Oh, the Cosmodrome. Yeah, I forgot about that. It starts you out there for like a little bit.
It's seven missions. They're exactly the same. Yeah, because I played the hell out of Destiny 1. I have hundreds of
I thought you were
hours.
talking about Beyond Light. I was
No.
I remember that in Destiny
When you
1.
start a new character, yeah, it goes you through this introductory. But anyway, and so going from 1050 light level up, you get new gear all the time. So you're constantly improving. So now that I hit 1200, it's really weird to me because every piece of gear you get is like 1200. Like to level your gear, you have to do all these other things, which makes it turns it into almost like a mobile game. It's like you need 8 of these resources, but to get those 8 resources, you need 40 of these resources, but to get those resources, you have to go do this over here 20 times. And it's like, it's just a mess of game design.
Main ways at your point to get your higher gears to do 8 bounties for Banshee, 8 bounties for Zavala. And then if you like Gambit, which I don't know why you would, do 8 bounties for them. And then 8 bounties in Crucible. That will get you 5 pieces of gear. And then you go do the 3 strikes on the playlist, which you have to have a Pacific Singe, which I believe it's Arc this week.
It's Arc right now. Yep.
And that will get you a piece. And then they have a Crucible where you do 3 matches, which isn't that bad. Like, as long as it's like the survival one, not so good because you have to actually win. And if you lose, it takes away from it.
Yeah. It's very odd. I don't know why it's been very successful. So obviously it's working for people. But it's just weird to me in the way you upgrade and get gear in that game because it's not all about just playing what you want to play and getting random drops. It's about doing things in order and sequence that they want you to.
Well, also you have to have multiple characters too to get like the full light level to go up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, they'll hit a certain mark, then they'll move on to another character like a Titan or a Hunter and then do the same thing and then go back around the next week.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. So I don't understand it. I'm down to play it just in, co-op for fun. But yeah, I'm never going to get back into fully grinding that game because it's just crazy to me. So, Peter, you ever get into Destiny?
I did in the beginning, like played 1, played 2, and played some of the expansions, and then new games came around, and it's just inventory management. I hate stuff. It's like when you get overburned and you have to pick and choose what to get rid of. It's like
yeah,
and just the grinds, day in day out, just to
Funny thing is, on Destiny 1, I only played through the campaign and that was it, and then I returned the game.
And the campaign in Destiny 1 when it first launched was pretty lackluster too. So
back when you could rent games.
Yeah, it's been a while. Anyway, all right. Anything else you guys want to touch on? Currently playing or anything else currently happening?
I'm not playing shit till Valhalla.
I'm talking to you, motherfucker.
Until Valhalla's done, huh?
Until it's done. I am. I think I'm on the last area that you have to take. You know what I mean? Like whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you're at 90, you could have probably finished it, but you probably did a lot of side stuff too, right?
I did a fair amount. Yeah. I mean, so you get there's an achievement for hitting level 280.
Okay.
It's called You're in the End Game now. So I assume that's the level you need to hit to be comfortable taking on the ending. So I'm way past that. I'm just mauling people with my Thor's hammer or whatever the hell it is I have. Whatever hammer I have. Just destroying people. It's super fun watching their heads pop. I'm not even going to lie. Pretty enjoyable.
Well, cool. All right, guys. A couple things to mention real quick. So this week, Godfall, which is one of the launch PS5 games, Steve did his review for that, which is out and gotten a lot of feedback because it's not a very generous review. That game seems to have a lot of problems. Our review of Falconeer is also up on the site, so you can check that out. Series X and S launch game.
Well, someone broke some.
That was
he's just over there like, my statue, no.
That was his TV falling off the wall.
Something actually just fell, and I don't know what, so that's not a good thing. We'll figure that out here shortly.
Hopefully it wasn't
What was I
Warlock.
saying? I am streaming Demon Souls. So like I said, even if you don't want to play the game, if you want to check that out and just see what it's all about, been doing a stream series of that, so you can check it out. And then we've been talking about this for a while, and it's almost here. So our 5-year anniversary is December 1st at the site, which is awesome. And I don't think next week, but I think the week after, so 2 weeks from today, we're going to do a special Bitcast with all of the SG contributors. So myself, Dan, Phasma, Elu, Steve, Direct Gaming, so a bunch of the guys. It should be a blast. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Congratulations, guys, by the way.
Say it again. Sorry, you broke up.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks, man. It's crazy. I can't believe it's been 5 years. But we also have a unique. I don't even have it sitting next to me. We have a unique 5-year logo that we're putting out too, as well, to celebrate, and going to do some merch with and some charity stuff. So very cool.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. We are going to wrap the episode up. So, Peter, HJK, man, why don't you tell us where that people can find you and the original Next Level Gaming crew?
Yeah, every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, we're hosting the original Next Level Gaming show with myself, Stinger, and Fastback. You can find me on Twitter at HCK360. You can find me playing on Xbox as HCK, or PlayStation as HCK360, and Twitter HCK360. So that's where
Awesome.
I roam.
Cool.
That's your PlayStation name.
Yeah, you got 360 in your PlayStation name. Love it. But yeah, love Next Level Gaming show, guys. So obviously we've talked about them plenty here, so I think all of our audience is familiar, but definitely check them out. Leo, man, why don't you tell us where you can find you, the Forking Crew, your streams, and Gaming Beyond the Box?
Oh hell, that's a list. Gaming Box Wednesdays at 8 EST, and then me, Fork, and Ghost do streaming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday usually. Sometimes we don't do them, for 4 straight days, but most of the time we do, and that's usually around 7 p.m. on Friday, Sunday, and Monday, and then Saturday is usually 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. But I did this today, so we'll be doing it later today around 4.
Excellent. Well, cool, guys. Well, thank you again for coming on, man. It's been a lot of fun. Dan, go for it.
Real quick. Next week, we've got a giveaway to do. We kind of teamed up with Toasty stickers. So we're going to do a giveaway. They're going to send one of our, we can do it on the SG Twitter thing, can we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll basically put out a contest with them, and they'll send you like kind of a pack of whatever, like a gift pack or something. And then we also have 2 $10 gift cards that we'll give away with that gift pack, and then another winner with them. So look for that probably Monday. This is why I went off there. So I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah.
These are the kind of the stickers. These are the button mashers over here.
Yep.
And then that PS logo right there.
Yeah, the classic logo.
Yeah, they also have the like things you can get on your touchpad here.
Okay.
Decals and stuff like that. But they're really good, really good price, really high quality stuff. So we're gonna do that next week. And then tonight I will be on Nick's show.
Sweet.
The gaming perspective. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
at
nice.
8 Eastern.
My show.
Other Nick. Again, the other
All
Nick.
right, you guys better talk about Yakuza tonight then.
That's what I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk about him before we get on. I'm gonna say, listen, Nick, what the hell's your problem? It's crazy. So
You still have time to do some playthrough.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
gotcha.
All right, guys. Well, thanks as always, chat. You've been awesome as always. Thank you guys for coming on. That was Bitcast 132, and we will see you next week. Peace.
Game on.